Recording in progress.
Jump inside the sub
and buckle on in.
Open your mind,
because it's time to dive into
2, 1.
the deep end.
The deep end.
Welcome to the deep end.
The deep end.
The deep end, bro.
Yeah, brah, deep end.
Deep, man.
Too deep, brah. Hello, guys. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Stephanie.
Welcome. Episode 8.
Crazy age.
Crazy.
Ready to get crazy?
Crazy. Yeah.
Ooh.
We're ready to stay
Do,
safe.
do, 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 do.
You have entered into a time warp into the deep end.
I forget. That would be so much cooler if I knew what they were saying, if I remembered what they said for a Twilight Zone intro.
I think he just says you're entering the Twilight Zone, doesn't he? I don't really know, honestly.
I think, yeah, I can't. He's like, don't adjust your screens or something like that. Doesn't he say something like that? Don't adjust your screen.
I've been having problems with my computer and my phone, and I feel like everything is fucking up right now. That's why I was asking about Mercury retrograde, because of the electronics fucking up.
It's actually this Jupiter being in Gemini, it's going to mimic a retrograde. It's going to be just as fucking annoying, but for a year, like a whole fucking year.
Great.
I was trying to find rabbit holes to go down on YouTube while I was cleaning today, because I've been working at my parents' building. They converted these upstairs apartments to B&Bs, and it's where I go when we channel. I go and use one of the rooms and stuff and whatever. But my little brother was staying there when he was in town. He just left back to Utah. I was like, I want to listen to some conspiracy theories and rabbit holes and all this shit so I could, contribute to today's recording. Yeah, I didn't even get there because I just got in this fucking Bashar time warp. I'm just obsessed. I'm so obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm being, a lot of things that are put in my way right now are how to just ascend, ascending consciousness, and I'm looking up this Sphere Being Alliance, and this fucking website's talking about how it's they're like beings, and they're part of 6th to 9th density group of beings that have been referred to as the Sphere Alliance. But it's they're especially they help with ascension, but I've been having a lot of ascension stuff come across my radar.
On your feeds and stuff.
Yeah, with Bashar stuff, and the rabbit holes I try to go down, they always lead back to ascension. It's funny.
Nice.
So, message received. Did you do any rabbit holes today? What did you dig up?
Yeah. I went down the reptilian rabbit hole.
Nice. Yeah, I was reading about some shit. I keep fucking hearing about, because I started watching that deep space show you told me about.
Mm-hmm. I watched a bunch of those last night. I didn't, so there's 2 different places to go into it. And so the one I had been watching this whole time, I kept telling you about, but I kept telling you that the Greys didn't work. All of the earlier episodes, the first 3 seasons, were all unavailable. Then I was doing a search and found a different link that said deep space and went in that way. And all the other episodes are in that one, and the new ones are not there.
Oh, yeah. There's 2 deep space shows.
So it's the same show, but just it looks like maybe they had to separate it. Maybe it's a different producer, but it is the same show, because the Intergalactic, or the Galactic Federation, and the Ebens, or one of them, is on both. And I was comparing them, and it is. But so I think I watched the JFK one that I think you were talking about.
Yes.
And I watched a bunch of those in the background while I was working on wedding photos last night. And that was pretty wild.
Did you see the tree? How he's look at the tree, and you could see where they put something over, oh my God. Did you see that?
I heard
story?
it in the background. I didn't know. I heard it. I was listening to that part in the background. I ended up walking in the kitchen and then didn't go back to it. And it kept playing. And I was like, oh, I want to go back to it when I can actually go sit on the couch and watch it, because my computer's I can't really see the screen, but I listen to everything. I could kind of see it from the side. But I really wanted to watch that one. And so I was trying to get my photos done so I could actually watch it.
Yeah, you should. There's this guy was like the guy narrating that, telling the story. He's like, yeah, I watched on the screen, and then I watched the driver turn around and shoot Kennedy in the head. And he's like, this isn't the footage that we got. He's like, what is this? And the guy's like talking about how they edited film, and he's like, look at the tree. He's like, the tree doesn't have a trunk. It's like the trunk disappears in midair. Yeah, it's like midair, and it's like because they fucking changed the thing to make it look like the driver was just sitting there. But it was the driver who shot him. But I also believe there was another gunman from another angle, because wasn't he shot from behind as well? Like there was like different angles. It was like in his shoulder or some shit. I can't remember.
Right. Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it never really happened anyway, and this is a fake memory that's been put in our timeline. So.
Oh, you think that oh, wow, that's interesting.
Because Bashar even said himself, no,
it's because that alien shit, so they had to make it like.
Yeah, so he actually did disclose the presence of aliens and everything, and it turned into complete fucking world chaos, apparently. And so they men in blacked us, they blipped us and changed the timeline.
So you don't think he was really ever shot? Like, you don't think he was
I don't know how that works. I mean, if they like put a fake memory into our minds and just basically show it on screens like 9/11, and everyone remembers what they saw on a screen,
like
then
the
how
moon
would
landing.
we know any different?
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. But no, for real, they did that shit with the fucking moon landing. Like, when you have like fucking Stanley Kubrick, a fucking Hollywood director, directs the moon landing, and you want to call it real. Like, shut up. But anyway,
I don't know. I've heard all kinds of different stories about that, because I've also heard that when they did land, that they were told that they couldn't come back, and that's why they acted like they couldn't come back anymore.
I know.
Or something.
I heard that shit. My buddy Bentley was telling me about shit like that. Like, you and him would have loved each other. Like, you guys would have talked shop all fucking day. Like, in fact, I'm sure that he's probably geeking out with you while you're researching. I bet you money he is. But anyway, he was telling me that he was like, he stumbled on like some website that has like interviews from all these astronauts and stuff, and they were saying like there's a lot of ships that are around the Earth that are just kind of flying by doing whatever and stuff. There's a lot of activity, but he said when, because he was kind of just giving me the gist of stuff, but then he was like, and then I found this one where they were talking about how they did go to the moon and they were met with hostile forces. Well, they weren't hostile, but they were like straight up like, why are you here? You can't be here. Like, and they were kind of like, and you can't be here. Like, and then they were like, don't come back. And he said like there was like 5-mile wide excavators on the moon. Like, they do all these things and like are mining and all this crazy shit. And I have a theory that they tried to go back again, and that's why Apollo 13 really happened. I think they shot at them and they got hit and they had to turn around and come back. Otherwise they would have probably been killed, But I think I have a theory that that's really what Apollo 13 was.
Right. I mean, it is believed that the moon is actually a hollow sphere anyway, and it has a base inside. It's like one of those bio floating spheres that was modified by the Andromedans, but currently the reptilians have control of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the reptilians were the ones that met them with force. But the reptilians also have a peace treaty with the government of the United States as far back as Eisenhower. There is records of them signing peace treaties with Eisenhower in exchange for alien technology, so that they could use it in wars, in exchange for, I don't know, furthering the reptilian.
I've heard also in exchange for like human experiments kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, because they're doing like the genetic crossbreeding programs and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so,
that's how they infiltrate, is they crossbreed in, and then they send hybrids into higher level positions and in the government and Hollywood. And
he's the one who he's the one who started the CIA. So it's like, I wonder if that was all in tandem, like the reptilians way in,
Yeah, very may well be.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised.
I mean, it's got to be, he's the president that got all that shit going.
And then it goes back to because so the CIA since the 50s has also controlled Hollywood. And the CIA, so how does the CIA and the cabal and the reptilians, is that all the same thing, just different names?
I think
so too.
Yeah, because I think you have to be on the inside. They will not let anybody who is not on the inside get inside because the secrets are too big. And so you have to be part of it. You know what I mean? Like all these Cinderella stories of, oh, I got discovered in a mall. It's just like, it's just filling you with hope that it could happen to you and it will never happen to you.
Right.
You will never, like to be part of that. Because I believe that like people start off in human bodies, but after a while they just get cloned or taken over, like they're just not there anymore. Who knows where their consciousness is? But I don't know. I just have all kinds of really weird theories on what Hollywood and Washington really is, It is nothing like what you think it is, kind of thing. Like everything they show you in the movies, that's like really what they do. Like they're just doing that to, one, show you what they're up to because they have to, and also to mock you because they know you're not going to believe it, And that's what's funny is they'll like post videos about the holograms and stuff and how realistic it looks, but they'll completely deny when you tell them that that's not a real image that you're looking at, like 9/11. They're like, no, that was real. That was very real. And it's like, so it's only real in Hollywood, but it's not real in real life. Like you see actors in Hollywood that like completely take off this mask and they're like they look like someone and sound like someone and then completely take off a mask and it's fucking Sofia Vergara, and it's like holy shit. And it's like, but people only believe that that's the case for fucking just entertainment. It's like it's so frustrating trying to get people to think outside the box. Like if it's possible here, of course it's possible here. I think it's all connected. Yeah. It's just their way to keep control because it's like that saying, give them bread and circuses, and they'll be, they won't question anything. They won't.
Yeah, they'll never rebel or something like that, right?
That's like a Roman Empire 101.
Yeah. Well, and there's also a theory that because of the chaos of Disclosure last time, that Hollywood has been essentially like spoon feeding these images and storylines into our subconscious by presenting them as, movies and stories that aren't real, but they actually are real. And so that whenever we are faced with these things, we're going to have basically like a social memory. We've already kind of are getting programmed how to react to certain things. And they're talking about even simple things as like Stargate, SG-1 is based on portal technology and fighting in the military using portals, which is something that a lot of military personnel, especially Space Force personnel, say that they use portals to jump between different planets and stuff. I watched a show last night all about a guy who said that he spent the last 20 years fighting a war on Mars, and that there was 3 species on Mars that all fight with each other, and they were warring with each other. And then about 5 years into his deployment, another species came to Mars, which was an outsider that didn't live there. And so the 3 species, the humans, I think it's the insectoids and the reptilians, like banded together to fight this other species. And so the last 15 years of his deployment, they were fighting a war against a different species.
15 years of his deployment. Jesus.
Yeah. And the way that the Space Force technology works is like they can go away for 20 years and come back and it's the next day.
Wow.
And they get sent on these, like he was explaining how they went on these training missions and they would be gone for 2 weeks and come back and they were gone for 15 minutes.
Oh my God. That's insane. Like that would kind of like, how would you not go a little insane with that,
Right. Well, he was he was literally designed and he's a test tube. So a lot of these super soldiers are test tube babies anyway. So they're not like, part of our reality. So it's not like you and me where we would think about our parents and our siblings and our friends and our kids. And,
he's just created to go to war like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's his normal. Okay. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, that's well, and it's shocking not because, of that. It's shocking just that like that's shit you hear about in sci-fi movies. Here I'm talking about how it's real in real life and in movies, and
Yeah,
it is real. That's crazy to think about that that's really going on.
And I think I've listened to talks about these super soldier military programs and these space soldier military programs over the last few weeks. It's come up in so many different places for me. I'm like, what in the heck is going on? Because this is like a theme that's starting to come up here.
I know, right?
But it's pretty mind blowing. It's wild. But they're talking about. Do you remember? Gosh, maybe 10 years ago. Now they were looking for volunteers to move to Mars.
Oh yeah, I remember that stupid shit. Yeah, let's colonize Mars.
Apparently they've already had it colonized for a long ass time.
Well, I believe that. Yeah, I believe that it's like an outpost. I don't know. I've always had theories about it. There's also people that says it's like a slave colony that like they do like all kinds of weird shit there, but
well, that's also definitely a theory, because what I was watching last night was that there's this really weird series of really intelligent, like physicists and really strong men in like military or battle and really like high ranking scientists and stuff that keep going missing in national parks. And they showed this map where it was like you couldn't deny it, and that they're not searching for any of them. And I think they're trying to make the argument that there's like they're using the national parks and putting these like portals in them and using the portals to disappear these people, essentially.
Whoa, dude, that's crazy.
Deep,
man.
Too deep, bruh.
Oh yeah, like that missing like the 4400 or something like that, or what is that?
I love that show, but
no, but excuse me, am I saying that right? Because isn't there like a certain thing, and like they've said that they're actually are disappearing and through portals and shit that they have? Because I've heard that's ringing a bell on something, but I don't know how to link it. This is the year of karma. And there's a lot of endings happening this year. And so maybe this is, a cycle of you not giving up on your dream just to get by. Like, like sacrificing your will to eat versus
Yeah. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'll be taking a step backwards if I do it. Like, I really know that I shouldn't, because I know how much it affects me, like going back to places like that, and how much it depresses me, and like energetically, I'll take a massive step back going back to an environment like that. I know I shouldn't. I just don't know what else to do,
Yeah. I don't know, because that's how I feel too. I even had like readings that were saying in so many words, like people are going to try to get you to get a job and to do this and that, but you need to hold strong and just focus on what you're trying to build and what you're trying to do. And Bashar even says, because he was saying, because this guy just was not getting the concept of following your joy, and he broke it down in so many ways. Or no, he was breaking down something else. This guy was not understanding the concept of switching timelines. And I wanted so badly to be like, no, it's not, like, because he thinks that the second he switches, all the chaos in the world is just going to disappear. And it's like, yes, in a sense it will, but not like the next day. That's not what it means. Like when you switch timelines, it's like I stopped following all the conspiracy pages. I stopped following all the news of the world. I stopped following all of that shit. I turned all of it off. And all I focused on was what was around me in my immediate environment, and everything started to fall away, and I started ascending even higher. And so it's like, that's how you switch timelines. His brain just wasn't grasping it. And I wanted so badly to be like, it's little by little over time,
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, when he said, like, one thing that stuck with me, what Bashar was saying is like following your highest passion and stuff. And he was just saying, like, when you're constantly working towards that and doing that, it's like the universe will keep putting things in alignment that contribute to that, and so, or things that can help with that. So it's like, obviously both yours and my highest passion is this podcast. What are we not seeing here? what in the fuck is the key to unlocking like living comfortably, not fucking living with worry and fear. But
Right. Because like that's my issue is like I have not been worrying where my money's coming from. I'm purposely not worrying about it. Like I've taken such a completely different approach to everything, you know. But
yeah.
then I get blasted. I wake up to a whole bunch of missed calls from bill collectors, and then I check my email and it's all these things saying that my shit's gonna get shut off. And then that like affects my ability to even make money because then people can't even book me.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like trying so hard not to spiral and not go down that road because the way I would have been in the past would have been like hysterical. Like I have to figure this out. Like I can never have a late bill, you know, like so I feel like I have changed my approach significantly, but like nothing else has. No, I don't know how to explain it, but
No, I know what you mean because it's like because I have manifested shit that I've needed and shit comes to me right when I need it, you know, and blah blah blah. But then it's like I don't know what the key to of consistently having that, you know,
what
is it an ebb and flow all the time or is it this is like am I getting it right, but I just have to go backwards a little bit? Like I don't understand the formula to have it be consistent, you know.
yeah.
Other because
And
outside of what I'm already doing, you know.
yeah.
And
Well, and
so,
it's like it's and what where I get frustrated is when I don't have it when I need it. When my rent is due next week and I have $13 in my account and I have all these things in my email and my phone saying things are getting shut off or, you know, that's
yeah.
when I like, okay, well, obviously I don't have it when I need it. So what am I, you know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to not get mad and not get frustrated and just try to like ride it out. But like, how fucking long do I have to keep doing this? You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just losing my will at the moment with it all. Open.
We should ask in a session like what can help, you know, like what are you not like what are you missing, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, because I really don't know.
I know, and like I feel the same way with, well, I know where I'm fucking up because I was straight up told how to have financial gain and I'm not doing it. Like I fucking hate content creating and
I know. Oh,
I
yeah. I was going to tell you that I went on your page. I was going to try to share like one of your posts, but I didn't see any posts that were yours. It just all I saw was like you
yeah.
sharing other posts.
I know. Yeah, well, I'm working on one right now. But I'm just like, ugh. I'm just kind of going through the first house and then I'll do the other houses. I don't know. I'm just trying to do like light content about like, here's your sun. And, you know, in fact, I could do a post about like the sun through the houses, like what it means, you know.
Mhm.
I don't know. Cause like in order to really have a following and have like clients, you do have to have your own shit. You can't just, you know, share people's stuff and expect people, you know. I
Right.
just, I get too, I don't know, I just get really, I'm like really timid about sharing my ideas out loud. It's a weird, but I know where it comes from. It's that fucking Chiron asteroid. Like knowing that helps me navigate it because it's like, I don't know. It's like I understand why it's there. It's like it's a wound that needs healing. It's not just some stupid thing that you need to avoid. It's hard because it's a wound that needs healing and the only way out is through it. And so it's like just sit down and work on it.
You know what I was thinking maybe we should do? If it's like a wound that needs healing, maybe we need to ask in a session what the wound is, where it comes from.
Yes, I should, huh? Because I never have, right? Like I've always
Maybe it
I
would
should
help with understanding and then processing and maybe do healing ceremony the way that we
dude.
approach other healing stuff
I
and
know,
see if we
right?
can
I
like
love it.
conquer that.
I know, I love that. I'm writing that
So
down.
I have been having this like overwhelming inspiration lately to expand my therapy services to I have reached out to a couple of the clients that I wanted to work with to see, but kind of based on like what we've been doing, try to do more sessions, like get people to do like
I was gonna tell you you should do like a subscription service or like a membership where you get like or something like well you don't have to call it any of those things, but like you have like like for me, when I figured out about that fucking murder life, I wanted to know more, but I'm like, how am I gonna fucking pay for that? Like I
Right.
know I'm gonna need sessions to do that. And so it's like you should do like a deal or some shit where like if they do, and you don't have to even say it until the very end of the session, but you could just be like, if you want to like go into this, I have like a therapy package that we could, I don't know, but you know what I mean? But it's like a discounted rate to like get to the bottom of it and heal from it. And,
Yeah, do a bunch of them.
oh,
Yeah, so I was thinking that it would be like multifaceted approach. So not only is it going to be past life regressions, but I'm also going to teach them how to do healing ceremonies. It's going to be like daily meditation and positive affirmations, and just like have like a little structure for people to follow and then monitor and see what kind of progress it makes for them and then adjust accordingly. But I was like, how can I like make the biggest difference in people? And just hearing how some people, their life changed so much just from one session, I imagine, okay, take that and multiply it like so much deeper, like with what we've been doing. I have a couple of the girls that I've already worked with before that I thought would be good to work with on this project. And I'm just going to start working with them and documenting things. And they are excited and I'm excited. So
that's so cool.
Yeah.
That'll be really cool. Because that's honestly like, that first session completely changed everything for me. But like the deeper we went, like I don't know, I just look where I am now and where I was like even at the beginning of this year, it's crazy how fast and I was thinking about that too, like when I was driving to my appointment the other day, I was like, it's really not that complicated. Like healing is not that complicated. All it is shedding light on what hurts. And sometimes it takes hearing why or where or how or what, you know what I mean? But just giving it light and then asking it what it needs to heal, and just doing, and like literally all it takes is a fucking ceremony that lasts as long as you need it to last. And then once it's done, it literally is done. It's I mean, obviously there's still stuff that lingers. Like I'm not completely cured of like the shit that makes me angry because I still learn that I get irritable and it's like I have I lose my patience and it contributes. So I'm trying to figure out why I do that in the first place. So it's like it's an ongoing thing, but the healing that happens that even sparks the change in you or the ability to even change and grow and evolve happens by just shedding light on it and allowing it a voice and allowing it just the feelings to be felt. And then it's done. It really is that simple. It's like we overcomplicate it. And a lot of it is it's overcomplicated out of fear, like the fear of the unknown, the fear of, well, who am I going to be without my trauma? Like some people, their whole identity is wrapped up in that shit. They're comfortable in the victimhood that they get from that, And so it's like stepping outside and beyond that, can be scary, but it's like way more scary to stay where you're at,
But a lot of those things, we're finding out that it's not as simple as just doing one session. There's not just one past life that's the root cause of your anger, and the further we go, we find how deep it goes into your soul's past because of that trauma that you went through.
Yeah, we were like going like how deeper it fucking went. Like it was like, yeah, you used to be a samurai, but you used to also fight this intergalactic war on another fucking planet. I don't know. We're about to find out what the fuck that was all about.
I mean, so like that was always my passion in the first place, was to like help other people grow and heal. And that's like what I went to school for. Was I have a psychology degree. I always wanted to do some sort of therapy. And so whenever I started getting into the past life regression hypnosis, I already had this whole psychological foundation and this approach to it of like a therapy to help people to better their lives, to work through whatever issues. Honestly,
it's the best. It's the best therapy there is, dude.
Right.
It really is. It's
I feel like it's like kind of come full circle. Yeah.
I want to know. So how did you get involved in like the hypnotherapy school, and like how long was that schooling, and like yeah, I want to know that
so I had a friend that I was friends with her before she started her training in it. I actually used to buy crystals from her for a long time. Then I started just listening to her sessions, and I was totally mesmerized by listening to the clips. And this was back when like TikTok was like a 90-second clips only kind of a thing. So I would be like scrolling, looking for part 2 and 3 of these different past life regressions. And I remember one of the ones that really gripped me was a story that somebody was sharing about being on another planet. And she was a really small alien. I think they said they were collecting berries or something like that, like a hunter-gatherer race that lived in caves. I think I might be mixing 2 of them up. But the girl was describing how they were being attacked by giant alligator-looking creatures that were massive, and it reached down and was strangling her with his giant hand. And that's why she struggled with neck problems.
Oh my gosh.
And I've always struggled with neck problems. And so it got me thinking like, I wonder what kind of trauma I've had on my neck. And the more of her sessions I listened to, the more I was just super intrigued. And then she actually started training people as well. And I was one of her first students in her school that she started, and got my training through her. And it was 10 weeks. And I had to do a certain amount of hours to get my certification, but I kind of blew it out of the water. I did way more than I had to. But to me,
shocking,
I wanted
a Capricorn that finished early.
I just, the more sessions I did, the more I learned. Every single session I learned something different, and I'm just so fascinated by it, and the stories. And I just kind of hit the ground running and started doing tons and tons of them with people. And I look at it as helping the world around me and putting my positive ripples into the world. If I can help this person realize their trauma and heal from it, and I can help that person realize their trauma and heal from it, and those positive ripples that it'll send out through their life into their family. And that's what makes me really passionate about it. So
yeah. Because I've like low key wanted to do that, like go to school, because I've had a couple friends tell me I should do that, but I'm like, I like being the reader. I like being the channeler. I like being the one to deliver the information, because I don't know if I could do that relaxing voice. I don't know, and be serious. I'd be like, yes, perfect. And I probably like start cracking up or some shit. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of people that are not like a couple sessions I've tried to be the person channeling, and the people tried to put me under. I really struggled with their vocal style. I found it like very jarring, and I couldn't relax, and they were really rushing through everything. And so I try to just really keep people relaxed. They kind of stressed like on the first day of class that your tone and the vibe of your voice like has a big impact on whether or not they can get in. And I think I haven't in a long time, but in the very, very beginning, I had 2 clients back to back that I couldn't get into hypnosis. I have just always tried to do everything I can and be as calm as I can, just so that people don't deal with that frustration, because I'm one of those people that struggle to get into it, and I hate seeing other people struggle with it,
Oh, I know. I feel you, because I would probably be that one that would like rush it and stuff, because I'm so impatient. I feel like, okay, we cleared this chakra. We got this chakra. Okay, what's next? All right, we got that. Okay, there's a light. It's spinning. Cool. Okay, here's this one. It's a light. Yeah, you see it spinning. Cool.
So I should also add that not everyone else does that, and we weren't trained to do that.
So that's
something that
your
I
thing.
do.
Hell yeah. That's so cool. Because remember our session, our first one, like it didn't work the first time.
I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah. And what made it work was that chakra one.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
And I had people that I couldn't get the first time. And then when I brought that into it, my new structure that I developed myself, then they were able to get in. And so I felt like that was a success. And so I just ran with it. And now that's just my normal structure, because
That's
I find
awesome.
that it really like relaxes people a lot more. But my approach to it is why not remove the blocks before we even get there? Anything that I can remove now before we even get down that road, let's remove it and make this a lot smoother. And then when we get further in, do you have any other blocks, this and that? But if there's anything on the surface or anything we could do just to get the energy flowing, let's do it. And it's been successful. So
that's really cool. Like your higher self is just like, this is, I don't know. I feel like that's just really divine.
yeah.
I like that. But yeah. So it's time for a vibe check.
It's time for a vibe check.
Vibe check.
It's a vibe.
Vibes all day.
I'm digging your vibe, baby.
We're each going to pull some oracle cards to read what is the vibe of the week.
Hell yeah. Let's see what the current energetic vortex has for us today.
Okay, so shocking newsflash. Guess what? I'm pulling from the Oracle of the Unicorns again.
What?
My favorite Oracle deck. Maybe somebody needs to gift me a new one. Okay. Send that out into the universe on my arrow. Bing!
Right.
Okay. So I pulled Receive, and it's a beautiful lady in a burgundy dress holding a glowing orb that matches her dress, standing next to a beautiful unicorn. And it says, receive. Be open to receiving goodness. Believe you are worthy of abundance. A gift is coming to you soon.
Soon. I fucking hate that word. I fucking hate that word so much.
I'm going to need it to be more specific.
I would need it to be more specific too. Can you be more Pacific? Anyway, so I pulled from my Wild Unknown Archetypes deck again. And this one I pulled the Mentor. It is the teacher, the sage, the guru. It is said that cosmic knowledge pours down on the world like a great illuminated waterfall. This can be an overwhelming force. The true teacher, though, is said to be able to hold this flow of wisdom at bay while the student sips from a focused stream. The mentor archetype has a gift for reading the room, for sensing the exact ingredient that will stimulate growth within the student, whether pleasant or painful. The mentor may appear aloof or available, harsh or tender, humorous or rigid. Their gift is to know what serves the soul. Ultimately, the mentor is in service of the greater cosmic good and aids in elevation of consciousness. Anytime the mentor forgets this humble link and mistakes themselves for the source of enlightenment, the archetype falls into shadow. That is literally what happened to me last week with that fucking shit show. The whole shit show, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what it meant. Sometimes I have a hard time registering it.
Okay, so it's like, I like this. This is cool because it's saying, so it's like the teacher, the sage, the guru, like someone who has a lot of knowledge. And that said that the knowledge of the world is like an illuminated waterfall and it can be an overwhelming force. But the true teacher is said to be able to hold the flow of wisdom at bay while the student takes a sip. And so it's like you have this responsibility to like give people little by little. So it's almost like how we are in our sessions with our higher self. Like you are given what you can handle in that moment, you know?
Oh, so I'm not supposed to go to the Father's Day barbecue and like vomit about energies and how we're being controlled by reptilians from the moon.
No,
and there's
so
a galactic federation that protects us. And the cat people are the protectors. And
oh my God, I said that to someone once. I was like, yeah, there's a galactic federation. They're like on Lilo and Stitch. And I'm like, yeah, like on Lilo and Stitch. Like, fuck. Oh, that is so funny.
That video that I shared on Facebook of the girl at the barbecue, I was like, oh my God, that's so me. My whole family's all like looking at each other like big-eyed. My sister-in-law is asking questions, like kind of curious, and all the kids are like, Well,
you know, sometimes those kind of word vomits, they're not accidental. Like if even if you sound crazy to everybody in the room except for one person, then you did your job. Because if you planted a seed for that one person, that was what you were there for. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you just had to like take one for the team because either you didn't read the room enough to know that maybe you should have just talked to them in private, or like gravitated to their energy and had a private conversation and blow their mind. It's like, I
Well,
had a feeling we had all these opportunities by the salad bar alone, but I waited until we were at the table.
Yeah, my dad actually like really loved Ancient Aliens. So it started out with me telling him about Gaia and that he should check out this new channel, and that it's kind of like Ancient Aliens but a whole channel. And then I start, oh, there's this show that talks all about all the different species of aliens. And then I went and like decided to tell him about all the shows I already watched.
and then there was this one, and they do the and then they were your inner child was probably having a ball, like just going to town talking about all the new stuff you learned.
Well, it's like once you start talking about any other race, then of course the reptilians come up. And then you have to explain to them how we're, all under mind control matrix by the reptilians and blah, 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 blah. And yeah. So for context, for context, you have to explain it. So
I know, but then you got to have context for that tangent. And then this tangent needs some context, but then you got to link the context of this one's context together. Cause there's those, and then there's a whole new context.
And you're not going to understand that part unless I explain this over here. So
yeah, exactly. So it's just this whole, we're all in this conundrum together.
And so, yeah, happy Father's Day.
I love you, Dad.
Here's your hamburger.
It's like, I just wanted the mayo. Oh, that's fucking funny.
It was good. It was good. I would love to hear I'd be a fly on the wall once they went home and the kids are like, Mom, what's an Arcturian?
Where's the boat's constellation? Oh, I was reading about the Anunnaki, and yeah, they're not the good guys. Like they were part of some reptilian whatever from the boat's constellation that near Arcturus. Okay. And I'm like, say what? And so yeah, I was reading some stuff like that, and then I got distracted by Bashar being profound again.
See, I was wondering about that. I was starting to think that the Anunnaki were reptilian just because I don't know, I've been putting pieces together. That's how I came up with that, are the Cabal and the CIA and the Hollywood, all the same people, because I'm hearing these people talk about this here and these people talk about that there, but wait, they just said in this other person said this, but it's all the same thing, so I'm starting to put it all together. Because I've heard the Anunnaki talked about for years and years and years, that Ancient Aliens talks about the Anunnaki all the time. And I don't recall them ever saying that they were reptilian race.
Huh.
But yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe I just didn't register it.
Well, there's some conspiracy circles that were saying that, that they're the reptilians.
Yeah, because the Draco reptilians are just one branch of them. There's a whole bunch of different reptilians. So that would make sense.
There's so many races. That was interesting in that video about Neptune and having fish and a fish race there. Cause it's so crazy to me how much astrology is because Neptune rules Pisces and they're the fish.
Right. What they were saying that Jupiter was
planet
involved
of
in the war.
Yeah, right. I was I thought I don't know. I thought Jupiter was a good planet, but I don't know. Maybe they were there trying to fucking regulate or some shit like that.
Well, yeah, because Maldek was being attacked by the reptilians on Mars. So I'm assuming that Jupiter was fighting against Mars with Maldek or something like that.
Yeah. I know. We'll have to figure, because that's a lot.
You need to dig into that more. I only recently saw that about Jupiter. And that they said that fruit came from Venus, like strawberries and stuff.
I fucking love that. Because I love berries. They're my favorite. My favorite fruit are nectarines and fucking berries.
Oh, me too. I love nectarines.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Because I made a comment on my buddy or whoever posted that. I remember making a joke about it. but I make jokes about everything. So, it sounds like something I do, but I don't know if I actually did.
Right. Could have just thought it. Nah, probably
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, that's funny, but no, not today. Actually, no, that does not sound like me. I will always take the opportunity to be funny. But actually, no, I take that back. If I'm really high and I'm like, maybe this is only funny to me. And so, because nothing is more embarrassing than having a really funny joke and you're the only one who thinks it's funny.
I hate
And
that.
it just flops, It's like, well, I'll just, like, just fuck me, right? Like,
Sometimes when I've had too much to drink, I think I struggle with that.
oh my God, dude. I know. Like, oh my God, I fucking saw this meme and it had me fucking dying. It was like the red flags of every sign. And Sagittarius's, I mean, they were spot on and they were really good. But like the first one was like oversharing and then disappearing for weeks. And I'm like, yeah, out of shame. Like, I fucking overshared way too much. And I made plans. No, fuck you. I'm out. Like, I can't be held accountable for the plans drunk Stephanie made. Like, she's got a huge heart and she wants to help everybody. She wants to go everywhere. And
Right. So much
we're gonna
ambition.
we're gonna have a barbecue at the river. I'll bring my barbecue and my, like, yeah, I don't even have a barbecue. See, drunk Stephanie is up to no good.
I was just thinking about how
Absolutely.
wild we got like on the cruise ships. And then like you're still on the ship with the people the next day. And you see them at like the buffet. And you're like,
I would be wearing sunglasses and a hood. I'd be like, don't fucking talk to me. I don't exist. That was not me. That was Patricia last night. Actually, when you and I go traveling, we're gonna be Becky and B. Like, that's it. Those will be our alter egos.
Time for
Okay.
a big hit, a big hit. We also wanted to let you guys know that if you have any questions about what we talk about, if there's anything that you want to know about the universe, email us at the deependpodcast2024@gmail.com.
Yeah,
Yay!
totally. We'll do our best to answer your questions and it'll be fun.
Bump your questions to the front of the line and let you guys know what we come up with. I think that would be a lot of fun to see what other people want to know, outside of the stuff we already want to know.
Yeah, send us your deep questions, man.
Your deep, dark questions, bro.
We'll deep dive.
Deep into your brain, man.
Into the depths of your soul.
Oh, did you see that video that Billy Carson said of like the negative ions that happen whenever the water hits the sand? So remember how you were saying that you thought that like with the ocean along the coast that was like one of the reasons why this is such like a healing place. So there's something that actually happens whenever the waves hit the sand as the waves are coming in. And this is the same effect with like waterfalls, rivers, anything where water is in motion and hitting like sand or rocks. It like releases negative ions in the air and there's like a big like cloud of negative ions that are like calming and are like really good for us. And then there's also something that happens with every step we take, like in sand or dirt, there's like an ignition that happens because of like the quartz in our body hitting the sand, something about like it sparks energy. And that's like what grounds us. And then you add in the negative ions from the waves coming to shore. And it's like, that's why the beaches are so healing and like therapeutic and calming for people. I thought it was really fascinating. I'll look for it again and send it to you because it reminded me of you saying that you thought, I always thought that it was because of when we were like talking during that session and we were found out about the earthquakes. And yeah, so it's a combination of them probably. It like makes it double, triple, quadruple.
Well, I think it's just it's like a quad stack. But I think it all, like I think all of it plays a role because every element plays their part in all of it. because I did see that too. So I think, yeah, I think it's because I've always felt that about the ocean. I've always felt that it's because that's why I prefer living in California versus because I remember I went back home to Utah for Thanksgiving, and I think it was my first time back since I had moved to San Diego, and I don't know, the energy felt really stagnant and I didn't like it. And I'm like, ugh. I was like, I don't know, it's like you kind of take for granted the energy you're surrounded by while you're in
Mm-hmm.
it, but like I couldn't wait to get back to San Diego. It was like the energy just felt really, it's like I keep seeing the recycle symbol, you know what I mean? But it's just like it keeps like just free flowing, and it's just constantly changing and constantly renewing. And
Yeah,
I
I've always like visualized like because of the waves carrying
mhm.
energy in and out and in. But he was saying like the science behind it has to do with like the sand and the water crashing together and creating these
That's
negative
cool.
ions. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that explains scientifically what I've always felt.
Right? I know. I love that. That's the thing I love is when you like you just I don't know, like I just wonder about shit and then you come across the answers. I completely love that when you wonder about how it works and then you come across the science of it all.
Right.
But no, I've always felt that calming feeling too at the beach. There's just something about like standing right there and just watching the waves with your feet in the sand.
Yeah.
Like that spot where like the water will come in and it's like barely gets your foot. That spot
Mm-hmm.
where it's like still soft and wet. I love it. It's my favorite.
Yeah. Definitely notice when I go too long without going. I
Oh
used to
yeah.
go to the beach like every day, and then I got with Travis, and he, so because I had two border collie labs, and so that's where I took them to run. But he is a city boy and doesn't like to get dirty and didn't like the dogs getting in the car all dirty. And so kind of quit going as much, and slowly it kind of got phased out of my regular life, and my dogs got older and didn't need to be ran as much. But now with Daisy being young and crazy and wild and she needs to run, I've been going a lot more again, and I definitely can feel the difference.
On that Channeling Eric website that I was talking about, they were talking about sometimes the purpose of animals to coming in your life is like to help with your mental health. But like one of them that stuck out to me was like to get you into shape. I had this dog Rocco when I first moved to San Diego, and I did like I took him out running down the beach like all the time. I used to run like 4 miles down the fucking beach and then 4 miles back. I fucking loved it. And sometimes like we would just walk, but like sometimes, yeah, we would just run. I would run in the water line, and have the water like splashing in the legs and stuff. It was so awesome. But there's fucking one time, oh my God, Rocco and we were going, full speed ahead. It was great. And out of fucking nowhere, this fool squats to shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I fucking just trip over him. And he goes, "Oh, blah, 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 blah," and like fucking barrel rolls. I was like, dude, I was like, oh my God, are you okay? I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah,
Oh my
when they
God.
like get out and start running and then they're like have to go right now. It's
Yeah,
funny.
but I'm like, it was the worst. I was like, you could have like went off to the side. He's like, no, right here now. Boom. I was like, fucking him and I both almost lost our lives that day. I miss doing that, running on the beach like that. Because where I lived, it was like at the edge of San Diego. And it was like the beach that I ran on, it was an empty beach. It was mainly used for like military training and stuff. And that was it. Like it wasn't really. And then when you get far enough down, you get to Coronado. And that's where like the guests and stuff of the hotels are at and like the people and stuff. But like it was nice just running on an empty beach. I loved it.
hmm Yeah, I have a hard time. I have a hard time walking on these beaches here too much because they're so slanted, and I have a really hard time like with my hips, like one being way further down than the other, you
Oh, I
know?
hate that so
There's like
much. I
no
know.
flat surface and it drives me
Hmm.
crazy. But I wish it was flatter because it's a really good workout. But I guess like out at Clam Beach it is flatter, but I just don't particularly care for walking long distances in the sand, but I know it's good for your legs, but
Oh, yeah, I love all that, but yeah, see, for it to actually be worth it to me, I like to walk when it's like, yeah, like the fucking tide just finished coming in. So the sand is still wet and it's like,
Right.
because I always, because that's the thing is I ran so much on the beach that I had to pay attention to the tides. And so I had to buy like tide apps and stuff because sometimes
Right.
it would just be a shit show. I get sand everywhere. I get sand in my shoes, like all this shit. Yeah, like the beaches here, they're way too. I ran on the beach here one time when I was in college, I would come up here to visit and I came out to the beach and I tried to run and it was not like it is in San Diego. I was like, fuck these beaches. So I
Like, is
just,
the sand way looser or something?
yeah, something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Plus
There's
the
a
energy
different
of,
consistency.
yeah, yeah, the whole experience is just different. It was just very different. But yeah, I didn't like the sand. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because our sand up here is like a little different. It's like made out of like darker rock, and I feel like I feel like it's so easy just to sink into it
It
that
is.
it
Yeah,
just
my shoes kept doing it and it kept kicking. Okay, yeah, because I'm like seeing the scene now. Yeah. Because it pissed me off. I was trying to run and I couldn't. Yeah.
yeah.
It was making me mad. I was already mad anyway, but shocking, I know. But yeah, I was not having a good time.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in, listening to our podcast, and following us into the depths of the subconscious and the unknown.
Into the depths of your soul.
Come find me and book a reading on www.mutablemystic.com. Find me on Facebook at Mutable Mystic. You can find me on Instagram at mutable_mystic. Also, if you'd like to check out any of my music, you can find me on SoundCloud /stay STE_music.
And you can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook under Quantum Healing with Steph Green, and book your own past life regression session, or you can send me a message on Facebook and we could talk about what you have in mind. And don't forget to like, follow, and share the Deep End podcast on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in today.
Until we can bend your mind next time. Always remember to ground your feet in the dirt and enjoy life with those gratitude glasses on. Catch us on
The Deep End.
the deep end. Welcome to the deep end.
The Deep End.
The deep end, bro.
Yeah, brah, deep end.
Deep man.
The deep end.
Deep end.
The Deep End.